Oh my gosh, looks like it's working. I can tell it's working because if you look in the top left corner, you see a counter, and it's counting up, and that's the number of seconds, how long the video is. And I start eyeballing it, like I said, I try to keep these under 15 minutes generally. So shouldn't be saying anything, all right, unless I call on your name. All right, so this is chapter 1, section 1. And before I even, spend some time looking at this page here, this morning we did some mental math, and I explained to you what squared was. Remember I said 5 squared, that means 5 times 5. If you square a number, you're multiplying that number by itself. If I said 10 squared, that's going to be 10 times 10. And it would look something like this. If I wrote down 5 squared, it'd be a 5 with a little 2 there. If I wrote 10 squared, it would look something like this, or it might be 9 squared. All right? That's what I mean when I say a number is squared. What I'm talking about is this, and that is called the exponent. And an exponent isn't just 2, it could be 3 or 4 or 50, but it's the small number just above and to the right of the base. And this is called the base. The 5 is the base, the 10 is the base, the 9 is the base. And then you would read the whole thing like this, as that's 10 squared. 10 is the base, the 2, the little 2, that's the exponent. This would be, like I said, 9 squared. This would be 5 squared. Now, the answer to each of those, if you know your multiplication tables, is just, 5 times 5 is, we talked about this earlier, 25, didn't we? And 10 times 10, we talked about that earlier, is 100. And then some of you probably know what 9 times 9 is.
It's 81.
Yeah, it's 81. I heard somebody say 18. Good, that's 9 obviously plus 9. But 9 squared, 9 times 9 is 81. All right? Now, in this first example here, it says Tamara, whoever that is, she's got a new horse. How nice is that? Anybody own any horses in here? 1, 2, 3 of you used to? Okay. So it says her new horse weighs 1,000 pounds. How can you show 1,000 as a power of 10 using an exponent? Okay? So it says the exponent is the number that tells how many times you multiply the base. I showed you what the base was. The base number is used as a factor. And when we say the word factor and we're doing math, we're talking about multiplication. So let me move this up a little bit here. And if I wrote, let's see here. If I wrote 10 squared, who remembers what it is?
100.
It's 100. Okay, I want to put 100. Now, I'm going to go a little further, make it a little harder, and I'm going to put 10, and I could say to the third power, but it's also called cubed. That's 10 cubed. And I'm going to tell you what that is. That's 1,000. And then I'm going to write 10 to the fourth. Now, shh. If you think you know what that number would be, raise your hand. If you think you know. Miss Guerin, do you think you know?
10,000.
Yeah. And I'm going to write 10,000 here, and she's correct. Miss Guerin, how many zeros do you see in 10,000?
4.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What was the exponent in that?
4.
Let me see here. Miss Noble, how many zeros do you see in 1,000? Where's Miss Noble? Raise your hand. Oh, okay. How many zeros are in 1,000? Right. 1, 2, 3. What's the exponent?
3.
Okay. Miss Adams. Where's Miss Adams? Miss Adams. How many zeros are in 100?
2.
What's the exponent?
2.
Yeah. Miss Adams, I'm going to go with you one more here. Miss Adams, I'm going to write 10 to the 5th power. Without telling me what the number is, how many zeros will follow the number 1?
5.
I'm talking to Miss Adams. 5. So I'm just going to put a 1 and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that number is 100,000. And so what's pretty obvious to, I think, almost everybody in here now is that when you multiply 10 by an exponent, that exponent matches the number of zeros in the answer. Look, exponent's 5. How many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys see that?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how that works. Let's move it up a little bit. I'm going to show you something else. And I'm going pretty slow with this because of last year. All right? So a lot of this stuff is going to be new, but some of it, could be review. So let me just do this. I'm going to put 10 to the 8th. And Miss Maldonado, how many zeros would be in that answer? 8. All right. Mr. Oldham, I'm going to put 10 to the 12th. How many zeros would be in that answer? 12. Okay, this is pretty easy, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm going to write a number, look up here, and I'm going to just put a bunch of zeros. How do you know where to put the commas, which would really kind of help you figure out what number that is? Miss McGee, where's Miss McGee? Thank you, hon. Do you know where to put the commas in a number like that? You could just say no if you don't know, honey. Say again? Yes, perfect. Every 3. You're going to start all the way to the right, and you're going to count 1, 2, 3. There's 3 zeros. You're going to count 3 more zeros. And that's it. All right? That number is 100 million. Yeah, some of you knew it. That's good. That's 100 million. All right? So if I was to write, Mr. Oldham had this one, I'm going to put a 1, and I'm going to follow it with 12 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Man, I had to write my zeros kind of small there. You would just simply count, as Miss McGee said, every 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. All right? That's a huge number. I think that's let's see, that's a million, and there's a billion. That's 1 trillion. That's a trillion. Okay? All right? Now, I'm going to kind of reverse this, and I'm going to show you something else here. And all this that I'm showing you is kind of, it's part of the lesson. And let me move this up a little bit and erase some more. How are we doing on time? Am I at 15 minutes yet? Oh, yeah, 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm doing okay on time. I'm doing okay on time. So I got about 5 minutes left before I got to start worrying. I might make this 2 parts. I'm going pretty slow because last year was not a good year. All right. So look at the example in your book right there. I'm going to show you this right here. You see where it says 5 times 10 to the first, all right? And notice all they did is they put down the 5 and they added 1 0. And then they have 5 times 10 squared and 5 times 10 cubed. And notice how they're just matching it. The cubed is 3 zeros, the squared is 2 zeros. That's all you're doing. So if I wrote this, if I wrote, come on, here we go, 7 times 10 to the 4th power, that would be 7 followed by how many zeros?
4.
What if I wrote 12 times 10 to the 5th power? That would be 12 followed by what? That would be 1,200,000. You guys see how that works? Okay, it's not that hard. But what you're learning is you're dealing with exponents. This is the exponent right here, and this right here is the base. This is the exponent, this is the base. All right. That convinced me, what does that say? It says, I'm looking at the bottom of the very first page, it says, what pattern do you notice in the number of zeros in the products in box C above? Well, we've already talked about that. I'm not worried about it. Put an X through the convince me. We've already done that. So I'm going to move this up a little bit, and I'm going to do a couple of the guided practice. And just to kind of make sure you guys know how to do that. And then probably on the last page we'll go over a bunch of those. But let's look at a couple of these here. I'm looking at let's look at number 1 here for starters. It says, why are there 3 zeros in the product of 6 times 10 to the 3rd? All right, why is there 3 zeros? I think I would just simply write because, and you guys can write this down also, because the exponent is 3. You guys just learned that a few minutes ago. So you should all write that down because the exponent is 3. That's number 1. Number 2, it says Susan said that 10 to the 5th is 50. No. What is 10 to the 5th? It's a 1 followed by what?
5 zeros.
Followed by 5 zeros. It's 100,000. Okay? So what was the mistake? She just multiplied it by 10. All right? And so you guys can put whatever you want for that. She did 5 times 10 only. That was her mistake. That's a times. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull up a card here. Mr. Williams? Where's Mr. Williams? Where? Raise your hand. Oh, okay. Mr. Williams. I'm looking at number 3 here, Mr. Williams. 10 to the first power. You know what? You know what that would be? I'm just going to tell you, it's 10. It's 10. But you should know by now what 10 to the second power is, or 10 cubed. What is that? Shh, talking to Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, what would that be? Say again? Oh, well, everybody's on that problem. That would include you. So, Mr. Williams, this one I'm looking at right now, 10 squared, what would that be? Yeah, 100. And then 10 cubed, what would that be? It'd be 1 followed by how many zeros? What's the exponent? Exponent's 3, so how many zeros do you think would follow? Shh, I'm talking to Mr. Williams. How many zeros would follow? Yeah, good. And then the last one, Mr. Williams, 10 to the fourth, it'd be 1 followed by how many zeros? Yep, nicely done. All right. Oh yeah, we're past 15 minutes. Okay. Well, tell you what. Maybe I'll do a second homework video. Now, I'm not the 15-minute rule, you guys, is just general. It's not hard and fast. I've done some videos that are close to 30 minutes long. So, but I just try to keep them around 15 minutes. So this is a good basic introduction. I'll probably do a homework video maybe after school today to help you guys with a few more of these. Let me just do one more to get you started here. I'm looking at number 6. Now we did some problems similar to that a few minutes ago. And so let me pull a card here. Miss Gage, where's Miss Gage?
Right here.
Miss Gage, number 6, it says 2 times 10. What is that? Anything times 10, all you do is add a 0. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I could write 27, and if I multiplied that by 10, that would be 270. Now, if I took 27 and I multiplied it by 1,000, you know what I do? I just add 3 zeros. If I took 27 and I multiplied it by 1,000,000, then I just put down 27 and I heard somebody say it, then I'm just going to add 6 zeros. All right, so let's go back to number 6. So Miss Gage, 2 times 100, what would that be? How many zeros would I add? How many? 2, yeah, it'd be 200. The next one, 2 times 1,000, how many zeros would I add? Yep, 3, it'd be 2,000. And then 2 times 10,000, how many zeros would I add? How many zeros do you see there? Say again? 4. So I put down a 2, whoops. And then I would add 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. And you guys can review this if you need to, but I'll do a homework help video and do some of these problems. And I'll definitely do some of those word problems. All right, I'm going to end this. Stop.